What's up, you guys? It's Jonno! Welcome to another episode of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Today, I want to show you how to build a perfect Mew so you can participate in the 7-star Mighty Mewtwo raids that are going on right now. You may not know this, but Mew is the perfect Pokemon for this particular raid. The reason why is because Mew gets a huge boost when you go up against Mewtwo. It's some kind of special ability that the Mew has. You can see it will activate at the beginning of the raid battle. So take that free Mew that you should have just gotten from the Pokemon Direct that they just did a little while ago. They gave a free code for a free Mew. Hopefully you redeemed it. And what you're going to want to do next is build up that Mew so it's perfect for the Mewtwo raid, and we're going to do that right now. The first thing that you need to do is head over to the Treasure Eatery in Medali East. Go ahead and go there. That is the location where you will change your Tera type on Mew, and you want to change the Tera type to a bug type. Hopefully you've been playing the game and doing raids and being active, and you've got at least 100 bug shards. If you don't have those bug shards, then you're gonna be out of luck because you need those to change your Tera type, and you really should change your Tera type. I'll show you a battle later in the video and express exactly why this is so important. I was in a battle where I was the only bug Tera type and we barely won, although we were able to win, I must say. However, you definitely don't want to be that guy on your team. Make sure you get the bug Tera type if you can. If you just simply can't do it, then let's go ahead and move on and we'll build the rest of the Mew. Go ahead and change to an Adamant nature. Now, there are two different builds out there for this Mew. One of them is an attacking Mew and one of them is a support Mew. I'm not worried about the support Mew. You can use the support Mew on your team if you want. Maybe you want to be that support Mew. You could probably find that support build, but I'm going to build an attacking build, and I think that anybody can get by with this attack build. Even if you have 4 attackers in your team, you'll still be able to get by because Mewtwo is going to be so weak. So I'll explain how that's going to work in just a second. The next thing you want to do after you've got your Adamant nature is raise your attack stat. Now, I accidentally raised my special attack stat. I thought Mew would be a special attacker, so you can see here in the video I did have to lower that special attack so then I could raise my attack. Now let's go ahead and move on to the moves. The first move you want to get is Swords Dance. That is going to raise your attack, and as I mentioned, we are an attacker, not a special attacker. You're also going to get Struggle Bug. This is going to lower Mewtwo's special attack, which is very important for making Mewtwo super weak. You're also going to get Leech Life because that is a regular attack. It's a physical attack, and it's going to give you health back, which is super important for this raid. So for your final move, you do have a couple of choices, and you can get strategic here as much as you want. Some people are using Light Screen to protect your team, which is kind of a support play. Some people are using Mud Slap to make it to where Mewtwo is always missing its attacks, and that's actually very handy. Some people are using Scissor because it is possible that you run out of Leech Life and you don't have any other decent attacks, because this battle can go on for a very long time. So I would definitely recommend X attack as well, but I did the Mud Slap play personally. I did not do the Light Screen because I didn't think it was very useful, since other people on the team will likely play support. So I would say go with Mud Slap or X Scissor, depending on if you actually want to use the Mud Slap. It's a little bit of a support play since you're just lowering Mewtwo's accuracy the whole time. Or if you really want to be focused on attack, then go with X Scissor because there's a good chance you might run out of Leech Life. Now, with that said, I'm wrapping up my moves here. I don't recommend keeping Tera Blast, even though you would think that that's a great move. Some people might actually want to go with that, and that's up to you. Let me know if you use Tera Blast down in the comments. I'm very curious about that. You could technically just use Tera Blast instead of X Scissor, for example, so that's a very good opportunity there to use Tera Blast and get some good damage in. But let me know what you guys think about that, and if you end up using any different moves than the ones that I mentioned here. And again, there is a support build, and I'm really not going to go too into the details of the support build because I do believe that 4 attackers could take down this raid pretty easily. But if you want to get the support build, there definitely is a support build out there, and some people are bringing in 3 attackers with 1 supporter, but I don't think you need to do that. I really think that 4 attackers is fine, so that's why I'm going to build my build around attacking. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on. The next thing we need to do is head over to the bottle cap guy and get hyper trained. So let's go ahead and give him some bottle caps. You're only going to need 3 because your Mew should already have 3 perfect stats. So that's pretty good. This doesn't take too long. And then the final thing that we need to think about is what held item do we want Mew to have? And I'm going to suggest the Metronome, because the Metronome will make it to where whenever you use the same attack over and over again, it gets stronger and stronger. And we are going to be using the same attack over and over again. So the Metronome is the correct item for this situation. I've actually never used this held item before, so I'm really excited to get to use it for the first time. So that's pretty cool. All right, once we get this Metronome equipped, we are good to go. You guys could actually use a PP up on some of your moves and get more moves. I did run out of Leech life, and I wish I would have PP upped on that move. But if you don't feel like doing PP ups, then you are done at this point and you are ready to raid. Okay, so at this point we have built our Mew. You're ready to raid, and what I'm going to do for the rest of the video is give you some raid tips and show you how this raid actually goes. Normally I would split this into 2 videos, but in this case I'm just going to make one long video. So if you're still here and you're still watching, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Drop any random bug emoji down in the comments to prove to me you really watched this far, and then let's go ahead and talk about how this raid works. Now the first thing I'm going to do is abandon the raid that I was in, and you can see the reason why is because nobody chose Mew. If you get into a raid in a public lobby and nobody has Mew, or not everybody has Mew, then just leave and get into another public lobby. It won't be hard to find one where everybody uses Mew, and if they're not going to use Mew, then they really don't know what they're doing, and you should just leave because you're going to fail that raid anyway. This is an extremely hard battle, and you don't want to be in a raid with a bunch of people who have the wrong Pokemon, and even if they all use Mew, there's no guarantee that they're going to have the bug Tera type, as you'll see later in the video. But at least if they use Mew, you know that they're on the right track and they know how to do this raid correctly. So you're going to want to get into a raid with all Mew, and if they're not Mew, then just hit B and cancel out and leave, and make sure you don't ready up until you see that everybody has Mew, because once you ready up, you cannot back out. What you're looking for is a great looking raid like this one where everybody is Mew and they've all got that bug Tera type. Oh, what a beautiful sight. That's what you're really looking for, and that's how you're going to know you're on a really good team. However, you can win if not everybody has the bug Tera type, and that happened for me, but it was a really difficult and really long raid, which I'm about to show you. This was my first raid I ever did, but I failed it, and I just wanted to show you what a good team looks like. Here's all those Mews. They're so pretty. I'll probably use this for the thumbnail as well, but let's go ahead and get into my raid that I actually completed. This was a raid with 3 other psychic Tera type Mews, and I was the only bug Tera type, and you can see by watching this video, I carried the team. They were pretty lucky to have me on their team today because they all got their Mewtwo thanks to me, because we really weren't going to make it through this raid. But some other people did do some damage at the end. At the very end, I ran out of moves and I had to rely on the rest of the team to carry through to the win. So thanks everybody else on my team for carrying me there at the end. But I was doing all the damage up until then. And that's because this build is so good. You can actually see it's really, really, really good. I've got this on 3x speed, so it's going really fast. But I'm going to tell you how this raid basically goes. The very first thing you want to do is struggle bug 3 times. Everybody on your team is going to do struggle bug 3 times. The reason why is because it will lower Mewtwo's special attack, and when everybody does it, his special attack will go way down, and then you don't have to worry about any of his attacks. After you do the struggle bug 3 times, the next piece is up to you. You could do Mud Slap if you have Mud Slap. Now you could just go with the total support play and just Mud Slap a whole bunch. I did that and it actually worked pretty well. If you're not going to do the Mud Slap or Light Screen or something like that, after you do your first 3 struggle bugs, which you absolutely must do those first 3 struggle bugs, and hopefully everybody else on your team does too, then you're going to want to do Swords Dance 3 times. Why? Because you need to get your attack powered up. Now, once you get your Swords Dance 3 times, then you're going to start doing Leech Life over and over and over again. By that point, you should be ready to Terrestralize. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to Terrestralize. So don't Terrestralize until you do your first Leech Life. You could pretty much Terrestralize anytime. It's actually not that big of a deal when you do it. But I would say once you do your first Leech Life, that's when you should Terrestralize. And then go ahead and do Leech Life from then on out until Mewtwo nullifies the stat changes. He'll nullify the stat changes against himself, and in a separate move, he will nullify the stat changes of your team. When he nullifies the stat changes against himself, that's when you need to do Struggle Bug again. That's very important because he's nullified all the Struggle Bug that you did that lowered his special attack. So now you need to do it again. So as soon as he does the nullify stat changes on himself, that means you need to lower his stats again with Struggle Bug. So you do 3 Struggle Bugs. Now, once he lowers the stat changes on your team, you need to do your Swords Dance again because now your stat changes are gone, okay? So that's really unfortunate. That's a thing that's going to happen, and you're just going to have to deal with it. He'll remove everything that you do, and you'll have to do it again, and he'll probably even do that cycle twice. He'll remove your stat changes again later in the battle, which happened to me during this battle. Now, the weirdest thing that happens throughout this whole battle, and it's really annoying, is once you break Mewtwo's shield, which is very hard to do in the first place, then he's going to use Rest, fully restore his health, and eat a Chesto Berry and wake himself up from the sleep. So you really get no mercy here whatsoever. Mewtwo is in for blood, okay? So you really got to be able to stand through a long battle here. You notice that nobody on my team is getting knocked out. That's because we kept his attack very low. That's because people are strategically cheering heals. That's because we're doing everything right, basically. You can see I've got this raid on 3x speed, and it's just going on and on and on. But we are going to win this raid. This is a good raid. It would have gone way faster if the other people on my team would have had the bug Tera type, but I'm guessing they didn't have the 100 Tera shards, which is kind of understandable, although kind of not, because the game's been out for a really long time now. I had hundreds of every type of Tera shard when I needed to do this. But anyway, not everyone's going to have the Tera shards, so we got 3 psychic attackers on my team. It's not helping anybody, although weirdly they did have some pretty good bug moves and they pulled them out later in the raid. Otherwise, we would have lost. So once I ran out of Leech Life, you can see I don't have any good moves. All I can do is Struggle Bug and Mud Slap, and those are not very good whatsoever. So I would recommend to have a backup move like X Scissor or Terra Blast even. Let me know if you guys are going to do some kind of backup move like that, or if you ran out of Leech Life, or you could also just use the PP up on your Leech Life. I probably should have done that. It was a pretty big mistake, so I would definitely mention that as well. As you can see here though, we did finish the raid. It took a really long time. There's a bunch of crazy stuff that happens along the way, but I was able to defeat the Mewtwo, complete the raid, and now we're gonna go have a look at that mightiest mark on the Mewtwo. Okay, before we wrap up this battle, I just want to do a little summary. If you're still rocking here with me, I really appreciate that, and I want to add as much value as I possibly can during this video. So first 3 moves, when you get to Mewtwo, do Struggle Bug. Next 3 moves, you do Swords Dance. After that, you just keep on doing Leech Life, and if he nullifies his stats, you got to do Struggle Bug again. And if he nullifies your stats, you got to do Swords Dance again. And if your health is low, cheer a heal. If he nullifies your stats and you don't feel like Swords Dance, you could cheer for the attack stat, because that's basically like cheering Swords Dance for your whole team. So that's definitely worth considering as well. Don't be afraid to cheer those attacks, especially if you don't need the heals. And that's pretty much it. You should be able to beat the raid if you use this build and you do those moves. And hopefully everybody else on your team does the same thing, and just don't get on a team unless it's all Mew. If it's not Mew, cancel that raid, get out of there. All right, you guys, here we go. Let's take a look at this mighty Mewtwo with the mightiest mark. And there it is. Such a cool Pokemon. Look at that crazy special attack with his modest nature. You know he's a beast. And he's got the Unnerve ability. So that's pretty cool. All right, everybody, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope this was helpful and useful for you. Good luck with those Mewtwo raids. This is by far the hardest raid event that they have done so far. So definitely good luck out there. And if you need any help, I will be live later today carrying people to the win on their Mewtwo. But I cannot carry you if you don't have a good Pokemon. So you got to build out that Mew that I showed earlier in the video. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you to all of my amazing subscribers, and peace!